Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. It is your sweet Zionist prince back to you with another one. Today we're looking at Bibi Netanyahu's speech at the UN, where he absolutely crushed this speech at the UN. One of the best spokespeople for the Jewish people from Israel in a long time. By the way, this sweet Zionist prince merch is officially available on thetravelingcloud.com, so go snag it right now. Let's take a look at this clip.
Half the Houthi leadership in Yemen, gone. Yahya Sinwar in Gaza, gone. Hassan Nasrallah in Lebanon, gone. The Assad regime in Syria, gone. Those militias in Iraq, well, they're still deterred. And their leaders, if they attack Israel, will also be gone. And for Iran's top military commanders and its top atomic bomb scientists, well, they're gone too. You remember those beepers, pagers? We paged Hezbollah. And believe me, they got the message. And thousands of terrorists dropped to the ground. But we're not done yet. The final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th again and again and again, no matter how diminished their forces. That is why Israel must finish the job. That is why we want to do so as fast as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, much of the world no longer remembers October 7th, but we remember. Israel remembers October 7th. On that day, well, I'll tell you, you can remember October 7th too. You see this large pin here? It's a QR code. What I ask you to do is hold up your phones, zoom in, and you too will see why we fight and why we must win. It's all in here. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to special efforts by Israeli intelligence, my words are now also being carried. They're streamed live to the cell phones of Gazans. So to the remaining Hamas leaders and to the jailers of our hostages, I now say, lay down your arms. Let my people go. Free the hostages, all of them, the whole 48. Free the hostages now. If you do, you will live. If you don't, Israel will hunt you down. Ladies and gentlemen, if Hamas agrees to our demands, the war could end right now. Gaza would be demilitarized, Israel would retain overriding security control, and a peaceful civilian authority would be established by Gazans and others committed to peace with Israel. And of course, you understand that the war in Gaza has affected every Israeli. But I'm sure there are people in New York or in London or in Melbourne and elsewhere who are probably thinking, what does all of this have to do with me? And the answer is everything. Because our enemies are your enemies. So let's do something else. So first at the UN, let's do a pop quiz. And raise your hand if you know the answer. Here's the first question. Who shouts death to America? Is it A, Iran, B, Hamas, C, Hezbollah, D, the Houthis, or E, all of the above? All of the above. Correct, all of the above. Second question. Who has murdered Americans and Europeans in cold blood? Is it A, Al-Qaeda, B, Hamas, C, Hezbollah, D, Iran, or E, all of the above? Correct. Again. So here's the point I wanted to make. Our enemies hate all of us with equal venom. They want to drag the modern world back to the past, to a dark age of violence, fanaticism, and terror. I think many of you are already feeling in your own societies the radical Islamist surge. You know, I'm sure you do, you know deep down that Israel is fighting your fight. So I want to tell you a secret. Behind closed doors, many of the leaders who publicly condemn us privately thank us. Mm-hmm. They tell me how much they value Israel's superb intelligence services that have prevented time and again terrorist attacks in their capitals, time and again saving countless lives. But regrettably, many leaders who are represented in this hall, they send a very different message. Sure, in the days immediately following October 7th, many of them supported Israel. But that support quickly evaporated when Israel did what any self-respecting nation would do in the wake of such a savage attack. We fought back. Now just imagine, just sit back for a second and imagine an attack against America proportioned to the attack against Israel on October 7th. Imagine a regime, a terror regime, dispatching thousands of terrorists to invade the United States. They massacre 40,000 Americans. They take 10,000 Americans hostage. What do you think America would do? You think America would leave that regime standing? You don't think that. No way, not a chance. The United States would wipe out that terror regime and ensure that such savagery would never threaten America again. There's a familiar saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Well, for many countries here, when the going got tough, you caved. And here's the shameful result of that collapse. For much of the past 2 years, Israel has had to fight a seven-front war against barbarism with many of your nations opposing us. Astoundingly, as we fight the terrorists who murdered many of your citizens, you are fighting us. You condemn us, you embargo us, and you wage political and legal warfare, it's called lawfare, against us. I say to the representatives of those nations, this is not an indictment of Israel. It's an indictment of you. Thankfully, President Trump's administration is forcefully fighting the scourge of anti-Semitism, and every government here should follow its lead. But instead, many do the opposite. They actually reward the worst anti-Semites on earth. This week, the leaders of France, Britain, Australia, Canada, and other countries unconditionally recognized a Palestinian state. They did so after the horrors committed by Hamas on October 7th. Horrors praised on that day by nearly 90% of the Palestinian population. Now, let me say that again. Nearly 90% of Palestinians supported the attack on October 7th. It's not supported only, they celebrated it. They danced on the rooftops. They threw candies. That's both in Gaza and in Judea, Samaria, the West Bank, as you call it. And it's just the way they celebrated another horror, 9/11. They danced on the rooftops. They cheered. They threw candy. You know what message the leaders who recognize the Palestinian state this week sent to the Palestinians? It's a very clear message. Murdering Jews pays off. Well, I have a message for these leaders. When the most savage terrorists on earth are effusively praising your decision, you didn't do something right. You did something wrong, horribly wrong. Your disgraceful decision will encourage terrorism against Jews and against innocent people everywhere. It will be a mark of shame on all of you. But wait a minute, Mr. Prime Minister, they tell me. Wait a minute. We believe in a two-state solution where the Jewish state of Israel will live side by side in peace with the Palestinian state. There's only one problem with that. The Palestinians, they don't believe in this solution. They never have. They don't want a state next to Israel. They want a Palestinian state instead of Israel. And that's why every time they were offered a Palestinian state, but were required to end the conflict with Israel and recognize the Jewish state, every time, over the decades, they turned it down. And that is why every time they were given territory, they used it to attack us. In fact, they effectively had a Palestinian state in Gaza. So what did they do with that state? Peace? Coexistence? No. They attacked us time and time again. Totally unprovoked. They fired rockets into our cities. They murdered our children. They turned Gaza into a terror base from which they committed the October 7th massacre. So here's the uncomfortable truth. The persistent Palestinian rejection of a Jewish state in any boundary is what has driven this conflict for over a century. It is still driving it. It's not the absence of a Palestinian state. It's the presence and existence of a Jewish state. And I find it amazing, that the foreign chancelleries and the ministries and all those who pontificate about this, and the leaders, how can they not see this basic truth when it is repeated again and again and again ad nauseum? So here's another message to those Western leaders. Israel will not allow you to shove a terror state down our throats. We will not commit national suicide because you don't have the guts to face down a hostile media and anti-Semitic mobs demanding Israel's blood. And I want you to grasp something else, which is also distorted in the media. I say this not only in my name or the name of my government, but on behalf of all the people of Israel. Last year, there was a vote in the Knesset, our parliament, whether or not to oppose the imposition of a Palestinian state. You want to guess what the results were? Out of 120 members of our parliament, 99 voted against and only 9 supported. That's over 90%. It's not a fringe group. It's not the prime minister who himself is extreme or he's held hostage by extreme parties to his right. It's over 90% of Israelis. My opposition to a Palestinian state is not simply my policies or my government's policy. It's the policy of the state and people of the state of Israel. I believe that in the coming years, the Middle East will look dramatically different. Many of those who wage war on Israel today will be gone tomorrow. Brave peacemakers will take their place. The rise of Israel did not mean that the attempts to destroy us would end. It meant that we could fight back against those attempts. And that is exactly what Israel has done since October 7th. Our sons and daughters fought like lions. Our brave soldiers donned their uniforms and rushed into battle. They were armed with the dreams of the 100 generations of Jews who came before them. The dream of living as a free people in the land of Israel, our beloved homeland for more than 3,000 years. The dreams of living in our own independent state. the dream of having an army to defend ourselves, and the dream of being a light unto the nations, a beacon of progress, ingenuity, innovation for the benefit of all humanity. On October 7th, the enemies of Israel tried to extinguish that light. 2 years later, the resolve of Israel and the strength of Israel burned brighter than ever. With God's help, that strength and that resolve would lead us to a speedy victory and to a brilliant future of prosperity and peace. Thank you very much.
I have a lot of thoughts. I'll start with, I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. I have Bibi fatigue. I do. I have fatigue from Bibi Netanyahu. I have a hard time not trusting, but just taking his rhetoric. I think it's time, bro. Like, it's time. And I know right after this, he went and met with a bunch of pro-Israel Zionist influencers. Actually, a lot of people that I know personally. And it was cool to see those people have a forum with him. But Habibi, it's over. Bibi, regardless of the truth or not, half of the UN walking out on you is also representative of us. And it's a shame because part of that speech, and this was like, I think, a 45-minute speech. We only got to see 15 minutes of it. It's a shame that they couldn't listen to that speech because of their own retardation, their own idiocy, their own hypocrisy stops them from that. It's not your fault necessarily, but it's time, Bibi. It's over in my opinion. We need a new leader for the country, and it's not to depreciate anything you've done for the country. We all appreciate the good things that you've done for the country, but it's time for new leadership. We need new leadership in Israel. Bibi Netanyahu is a great, great talker on behalf of Israel. What I wish more than anything, and what I really think Israel's strategy in the UN needs to be, while I was listening to this speech, I was thinking, so it's on. This is it. It is Israel versus the world. We can't take that back anymore. That's our reality. This is the world we live in now. It is Israel versus the world. When half of the UN walks out on the leader of Israel, as an ongoing rampant genocide is happening in Sudan and Somalia, hundreds of thousands murdered in Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, nobody's walking out on them. And I know most of the countries that walked out were Arab Muslim nations. They have to because they don't get to have any independent thought. They all get to oppress each other, murder each other, but they don't get to actually think for themselves. I wish that instead of doing Hasbara, which is what Bibi Netanyahu does, he just came on and said, quite frankly, the parts that he did say, which was, we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep hunting you and fighting you down. Bring it on. I really think the messaging and the posturing now from Israel needs to be, there's no more salvaging. We can't salvage anymore the UN. We can't salvage our international reputation. The world has chosen to demonize us for defending ourselves, for executing a war that any country would do way worse, objectively by fact. Nobody has a solution for us. Nobody has a solution to the Palestinian problem and the way that Palestinians choose to behave. Everyone wants to infantilize them. So, bring it on. So, in the words of the Zohan, so let's go. And I really believe in that. So, let's go. Bring it on. It's Israel versus the world. It's the world versus the Jewish people. Let's do it. Let's tango. Bring on your best. You have been trying. The Europeans aren't going to fight. They're a bunch of pussies. They're not going to do shit. They're not going to fight for their own countries. They're not going to fight for us. The Americans are too busy sitting down going, we don't want to die for the Jews. We don't want to die for the Jews, but let's just murder each other also. I mean, the Americans are losing their goddamn shit also. So let's go. If it's us versus you guys can't pull together for more than 3 seconds without murdering each other. I bet we still come out alive at the end. Not on top. Maybe not on top, but alive. Just remember, when you fight a genocidal war against the Jews, which is all you've ever done, this is talking to the Nazis, this is talking to the Arab Muslim supremacists, We will always survive. You cannot get rid of us. That is the will of Allah. That is the will of Jesus Christ. That is the will of Hashem, of God. Whatever God, whatever creed you have, whatever you pray to, we will remain. Understand? Even if you kill me, you kill my kids, you kill my future wife, you kill my grandma, we're still gonna be here. We're still gonna live. Worse than you have tried. And they all failed. Destroy the state of Israel, bring down our borders, wage a war, do another Holocaust, bring your worst. We're still gonna be here. Sorry. That's how the world works. Gravity is always going to exist. Newton's law is always going to take into effect, and the Jews will always live in the land of Israel. No matter how hard that hurts you, no matter how much that annoys you, we are not going anywhere. In my opinion, that needs to be the rhetoric in the UN moving forward. Bring it on. Let's go. Bring it on. You think Saudi Arabia and Yemen are going to start working together? You think Morocco and Egypt are going to start working together? You think Lebanon and Syria are going to start working together? I'm not afraid of you, motherfucker. You think Iraq and Iran are going to put their differences aside and come against us? You think Mauritania and Chad, Somalia and Sudan are going to come and fight us? Nah, I call your bluff because I know you guys. And that's what gives me confidence in what I do. I know you motherfuckers because I studied you. Because like I said before, y'all created a monster. Not just me. You created a group of monsters. We call your bluff. We know you don't got it. We know you don't have the spirit to do this fight. Because we'll fucking go there. That's the difference about us. We'll give up on everything. We'll give up on it all. We'll take it to the fucking ground. We'll be with one hand, with one eye, with dying of cholera, still fucking punching. That's the spirit of a Jewish person. I had a Nazi I spoke to a little while ago telling me we're not a warrior class. Bro, what do you call a travel vlogger who gave up traveling the world to fucking do propaganda for Israel without getting paid? What do you call that? That's a fucking warrior. Sorry, I consider myself a warrior. What do you call somebody who was vacationing in Thailand who flew out of their own pocket, out of their own dime because their country didn't cover it, to go fight in a fucking war for 2.5 years, for 2 years? What do you call that? What do you call hundreds of thousands of Jews doing that? That's a fucking warrior. That's the spirit we have. That's the spirit we need to embolden. No more excuses. You want to bring it on? Bring it the fuck on, motherfucker. Let's roll. Let's rumble. I'm down. I'm game. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Be proud of yourself. Don't be afraid. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew, a Muslim, or a Christian. If you're a Zionist, stand up tall. Don't be fucking afraid. These losers cannot come together for a second. I promise you. I know them well. I studied this shit. They are way too busy hating each other, hating themselves, and being confused about their identity to come and take us over. They've tried. Let me tell you this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go. I know you guys like when I ramble a little bit. Think about 67, think about 48. If there was a chance that they were going to come together, it's when their population sizes were lower and they were more unified as nations. The chance for them to come together has already passed. That's gone. They're never going to be more unified than they were in 48 and in 67. When their nation states were born and their populations were unified and they didn't have a bunch of fucking hungry people starving and dying. Guess what? Egypt's population sucks. They're all fucking dying and hungry and malnourished. How do I know? I went. Same with Jordan. Same with Syria. Lebanon, for fuck's sake. Don't even talk to me about Lebanon. They are not going to fight us. They don't have the willpower. They don't have the strength. They don't have the intellect. Not because of their genetics, because they act like fucking hooga-boogas. And guess what, motherfucker? If you want a hooga-booga, I'm game. I'm down to hooga-booga. Let's go! I really believe in that. That needs to be our ideology moving forward. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Klats. Has this ever happened to you?
Hey, are you a Zionist?
What is this hesitation? You think Judah the Maccabee was hesitating when he's fighting for Israel? Here, take this. Do you think Queen Esther hesitated before stopping Haman from ending the Jews of Persia?
Well,
Hey, Habibi, you think Herzl thought he was a white colonizer as he Zionized the Jews of Europa? Listen, kid, I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Jew, or a Christian. You're a Zionist, right?
yeah.
Well, a good Zionist goes to thetravelingclad.com and buys some provocative merchandise.
They do?
Absolutely, a pinch of I have some incredible designs for you, Yellen. They say everything promised to you 3,000 years ago. Here, take a shirt with a matching hat. For you, good price. They say they kick you from 109 countries. Here, join the 109 club. Take shirt and matching hat. For you, good price. Habibi, you want to Zionize? Here, take shirt, matching hat. You like Kuba Selek shel Safta? Here, take shirt, matching hat. Take sticker, take hoodie. Take, good price, good price, good price, good price,
Yossi, achi, he understand you. Stop.
A good Zionist goes to thetravelingclad.com and buys merch. Yalla, Habibi, for you, good price. If you don't want to buy any merchandise, the best way to support me is by donating on Buy Me a Coffee, my PayPal, or becoming a member on my Patreon. Your support is very much needed and very much appreciated. Thank you.